to drop in a cloud in the chat if you have liked this session so far. Is everyone present in the meeting? Did you like the sessions that we have conducted for you? If you have liked those, drop in a cloud emoji in the chat. Today is extra special day because we are wrapping up this challenge with an exciting hands-on demo. Great. Great to see your responses. So get ready to roll up your sleeves and dive into AWS services. Put your skills into test. I want to give a huge shout out to all of you who have been with us throughout these 6 days. Your dedication, enthusiasm, and consistency have been truly inspiring. And now it's time for the most exciting part, the hands-on demo. Today we are going to walk you through the hands-on demonstration of deploying website using EC2. Our expert will demonstrate the process step by step and you can then follow along. By the end of this session, you will have a working AWS setup that you can showcase with us. To guide us through this session, we have an expert with us today, Mr. Tirthraj Mahajan. He has an extensive experience in AWS since the past 1.5 years. He has been the part of the technical team at AWS Cloud Club PICT. He is also skilled in designing and deploying multiple applications using services like EC2, Lambda, S3, DynamoDB, and API Gateway in the past. So welcome, Tirthraj.
Hello, thank you. Thanks a lot for inviting me. Unfortunately, I don't have a camera with me on my device, but I'll just present my screen. Can I?
Yeah, sure. You can share.
Right. So is my screen visible?
Yes, it is.
Right. So hello, everyone. Welcome to today's hands-on. Today, we are going to see how to deploy a web application on EC2. This is one of the most important skills, and this is the core of what you should. This is the most basic thing that you should learn when you are learning about cloud, because it's quite important to deploy your application on a virtual machine like EC2, right? So I know many of you are beginners, your first years or second years, who don't have you don't have a knowledge about let's say web applications or how they are actually deployed. Don't worry, I'll guide you step by step on how to deploy a simple web app on a production level. So don't worry on that front. So before diving into our hands-on, we'll just look at the roadmap and see what exactly we are going to learn today, right? So today we'll see what exactly web servers are, because many of you might not actually know how actually web servers work. We'll learn why we require an EC2 instance or any other virtual machine for that matter. We'll learn how to set up a reverse proxy. We'll learn what is a reverse proxy and we'll learn how to set that up. And at the end of the session, we'll learn how to actually use SSL, how to get an SSL certificate to have a secure communication between the client and the web server which you will be hosting. Okay, sounds good. So yeah, let's begin with our today's session. So let us just first, before deploying anything or before doing anything on AWS, we'll just look into what actually web servers are. So web servers are just simply a program which constantly listens to particular requests from users over the internet. So it might be any request, it might be an HTTP request, it might be even a WebSocket request. But for now, let's just look into HTTP request. And the way these programs listen to these requests is by a mechanism called as binding. Now, these programs bind to a particular IP address and a port number. And basically, whenever you request to a particular website, let's say google.com, Google has its own machine somewhere in their own data center. and a port number. If you don't specify any port number, but you're sending an HTTP request, then by default it goes to port 80. And if you're doing a port, if you're sending a HTTPS request, then it goes to port 443. So I won't go into depth on what actually port numbers are and what are IP addresses, because that is a part of computer networks, and it will have to go much deeper than that. But let's just stick to this knowledge right now, that will have to have a particular port number to which our application can bind to. Now, your machine, or any machine for that matter, has a total of 65,000 ports. Okay. And any application can only bind to a particular port. So only, like, a port can only be binded to one particular application. And this is going to be very important when we'll learn about reverse proxies and why we actually use them in production. Okay. And also, one thing to note is that, like, port 0s to 1023 are privileged ports, and especially port 80, which we are going to use today. It is going to be a privileged port, and you have to use it with precaution. So in order to bind a particular application to that port, you need super user privileges, and you should only bind those programs which you trust fully. Okay, so we'll get to why I'm telling you this later on, but just remember this for now, right? So I've already told you about this, that by default HTTP request goes to port 80, HTTPS goes to 443, and if you specify a particular port number, let's say :5000, then it goes to that port. But that port has to be so that machine has to allow that access to the internet. So allow the access to that port over the internet. So unless your firewall allows port 5000 to be accessed from the internet remotely, then you cannot access it. Okay, so this is just to keep that in mind when you learn about security groups and why they are important. We'll see why we are learning this. Now, so we are going to deploy our application on a virtual machine. Okay, and now a virtual machine is literally, for you, it's going to be the same as an actual machine. So AWS is actually giving you an entire machine of your own to use for free. It's giving you your operating system, it's giving you the drivers and whatever which is necessary to run on that machine. So why? So till now you have seen that you can deploy your static web pages or static pages on over S3, or you can use frameworks such as React or Next.js and use a platform as a service such as Amplify, right? But why would you need a virtual machine, an entire machine of your own, to deploy a web application? This is because also one might argue, if you're experienced enough, you might know about lambdas and why we are not using AWS Lambda for this purpose. Basically, if we want a process to be constantly running, constantly listening, if it's a critical process, then we require a machine that is enabled for all the time. Okay. And if we want to run particular background functions, let's say if I'm doing some cron jobs, if I'm doing some cleaning tasks behind the scenes, if I want full control over which program is using my RAM and which program is utilizing my storage, then I might use a virtual machine like EC2. So it gives you an entire control over what resources your application is going to use. Okay. And if you have a particular application, let's say Python, which uses a different environment, if you have applications such as a Java application, which uses different environment, you need different installations, then virtual machines are a way to go. Okay. So now let us just look into how we actually set up our EC2, and I hope you guys will be following with me. So hopefully you have your AWS accounts ready. Does everyone have their AWS accounts ready in the chat? Hello? Yes. So nice. So I hope so I want you guys to go into your AWS console, and we'll see how to actually get our own virtual machine, right? I will share this link with you guys. I think it's already shared, but I'll just share it once again. This is the guide which you will follow if you are stuck anywhere. This README has everything that you will need, from basically how we are going to set up our own virtual machine and how we are going to run our application. There is a demo application inside of it. You can run any application. Someone yesterday was asking about how I should deploy my fast API application, so you can do that as well today. But yeah, overall, so I want you guys to go onto your AWS console and search for EC2. Okay, search for EC2. So as you can see, the EC2 is just a virtual server inside of inside a cloud. Now, when you go into EC2, you want to hit this launch instance button. Okay, is everyone with me? Is everyone following? Hello. Hello. Are you guys over here? I'll just wait till you guys are on this web page. Right. So basically, now what we are going to do is we'll just name our own EC2 server. You can name it whatever you want to. For now, I'll just say it's my. Now we are going to deploy a Flask application, which has its own a simple database. It is going to be a to-do application. So I'll just name it appropriately. I'll just say to-do app, which is what we are going to do. Then we are going to now we have to select a particular operating system on which we want to deploy our app on. So I'm going to choose Ubuntu over here. Okay. You can choose other as well. You can use Windows, you can use Linux, Amazon's own Linux, you can use Mac OS, you can use other variants of Linux. I'm just going to choose Ubuntu because it's the most simplest. And over here, you're going to choose T2 Micro. Okay, so T2 Micro is available if you have just opened up your account. It's available for 12 months free of cost for 750 hours or so. So you can run your instance for 12 months, one instance for 12 months entirely for free. Okay, so everyone till here with me? Any responses in the chat? I can see. Right, so you guys are with me? Okay, great. So now what we are going to do is you have to choose a key pair login. Okay, now key pair is basically the way you can access your virtual machine. Now this it is generally recommended to create your own key pair, but for just this demo itself, I'm just going to click proceed without a key pair. Just for this demo, because you will have to set up your own SSH and you will have to change your permissions on this file. Yes, hello.
Hello, in my AWS console, there is no T2 micro. It's T3 micro.
Okay, yeah. So you have to choose US East one. So you can see you will get T2 micro over there. Even I think T2 micro for regions where T2 micro is not available, T3 micro is also free. But just remember to close your application once we are done over here, or else you will be billed. But if you're following me, you can just use US East 1 as your region.
Okay.
Sounds good?
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so now just proceed without a key for now. It is not recommended as even AWS is saying. Just for this demo, I'm just doing this. Generally, you want to have your own key pair. For example, I have my own key pair which is downloaded on my machine, and you have to keep it secure and you have to change the permissions to read only. But that will take a lot of time, so I'm not doing that currently. Okay, and after that, I want you guys to allow HTTP over the internet and allow HTTP on HTTPS traffic over the internet. Now, this is important because, as I've already told you, HTTP and HTTPS. Now HTTP uses port 80 and HTTPS uses port 443. So by checking these boxes, you are telling AWS that you want your virtual machine to open up those ports over the internet. If you don't check these, you won't be able to access your virtual machine, or for example, you won't be able to access your machine from the internet. So you won't actually see your website which you are going to deploy. You can change this later on even if you haven't ticked it, but for now, just tick it over here itself. Okay. Is everyone following so far? Right. So I hope everyone is following. This is all you guys need to do. This is all the configuration that you will actually need. Yes, T3 micro will also work for the regions where T2 micro is not there. Yes. If there is like there might be free tier eligible, uh, or what you can also do, you can change your region to US East 1 where T2 micro is there. So while you guys are setting up, so what are these T2 micro or T3 micro? So during, I think, your second day, Ankit would have told you guys about the compute services. And over there, he told you guys about EC2 in specifically, where there are multiple configurations. For example, if so basically these are just machines which have different configurations, right? So they have appropriate pricing according to the configuration. So if you want a machine that can handle a huge amount of load, or if you want something that has a lot of RAM, then you can go, you can just scroll through it and you can check what configuration you actually need. Currently, we are just deploying a simple application, so we don't need that amount of RAM. So we are just going with T2 micro, and T2 micro is free for 12 months. So we are doing that as well. Okay. And after you guys set this up, after you set up your name, your operating system, what kind of instance you want, and you check these two boxes, then just click launch instance. Okay. And it will launch your virtual machine in the background. And as you can see, success, your machine is there. Okay. So that is all you need. So with one click of a button, you have your own virtual machine on cloud. And that is the power of
हेलो
AWS. Yes, hello.
वो एक्चुअली गिटहब का कौन सा वो करना है फ्लास्क डूडू वाला या टेम्पलेट्स वाला डाउनलोड
Download kuch nahi karna abhi. Just keep that link with you. You don't have to download anything. We are going to clone that on inside of our virtual machine. You don't have to download anything right now.
अच्छा तो अभी सिर्फ देखना है
So if stuck anywhere, you can choose to read this readme file. So it has the same instructions which I just gave you, कि यहाँ पे EC2 search करने का, फिर launch instance, फिर name your application, then choose Ubuntu, then T2 micro, then here in this demo I had created a key. You don't have to create your own key for this demo, but just allow HTTP and HTTPS traffic over so that we can access our website, right? And just click launch instance. Okay. So this has the guide. So if you guys are if you are lagging behind, you can follow this guide as well. Sounds good?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So till everyone is setting this up, I'll just how do we know what must be the configuration of a VM for deployment for different types of application? So that depends on basically your requirements. So initially, if your companies require, so for example, if you have your application with you guys, you know what specifications it actually needs. So for example, how much RAM is it consuming, or how much RAM is the minimum requirement to run my applications, right? And if you think that it is not going to be enough, so if you have bare minimum setup, what you can do in the future is use, you have studied about elastic load balancers, right? So over there, you can set up a group so that it will auto scale these EC2 instances. So even if, so currently when you are deploying, just look at the configuration which you need to deploy your application, and just think of how many people are going to use my application in day-to-day life. And if you think that for example, if a huge traffic is going to come to my servers, then you can further set up an elastic load balancer to further horizontally scale your application. So that comes under so this is what you generally learn. Okay, right. So while you guys are setting these up, I'll just move forward to our next our next topic, which is called as the reverse proxy, right? So what are reverse, and so exactly, okay, we'll just look into what we are going to deploy today, and we'll learn why we are actually going to need a reverse proxy. Sounds good? So now, so today we are going to deploy a simple Flask application. So Flask is a Python framework for deploying web applications. If you have a Spring Boot application, you can deploy that as well. If you have a fast API one, you can do it. If you have an Express.js app, React app, whatever you have, you can deploy this. Don't worry. For simplicity's sake, so since Flask is quite easy, I've chosen Flask. So basically, this application has your front end, it has your back end, it has your database. So for database, I'm using SQLite so that we don't have to configure our own database server using Postgres or MySQL. But you can do that as well. Then we have simple routes, and we have this HTML page which will act as our front end. And we have simple backend routes, backend APIs to do CRUD operations on the database itself. So when you will learn about REST APIs and all, you will learn about the principles on how to design this. Let's not get into that. But for now, we will just see what we are trying to deploy today. So I'll just run this command. So this is running on port. This is running on port 8080. And as you can see, we are just going to deploy this application, right? It is a simple to-do application. Let's say if I want to keep track of what I'm going to do today, so I have to make dinner, then do homework and whatever, and you can mark, update, and delete these entries as you like, right? So this is quite easy. This is what we are going to deploy today. It has a front end, back end, and a database. So with us, right? So so why do we actually need this? Why do we why do we need reverse proxies? So this is just a simple application. Now this, as you could see, that this application was running on this IP address and this port number. So I told you guys about binding, right? So it is constantly listening to these ports for any request. So when I'm hitting this localhost 8080, it is sending a GET request to my this program, right? And it is processing this request, and it is sending you back this HTML file. And this is generally what happens, right? Now, basically, if you have now, if you go into Google, let's say if you're going into google.com, right? You don't see port 8080 or port 5000 or anything, right? Because by default now, since it is using HTTPS, it is by default using 443. Now, if you're using HTTP, it is going to use port 80, but 443, oh, sorry, not 433, 443. Right. So by default, it is using 443. So it is just neglecting that port. But as you can see, the website loads, right? So by default, we want our customers or want our users to go into our website directly, right? So they are going to reach port 80 or 443. So what we are going to do is basically we are going to have our application which will listen to port 80, and we will whatever this request is, we will send this to our Flask application, right? We will forward this. So this might be our IP address of our machine, and they might send a request like this, and this will by default go to port 80. This because this is port HTTP, and we will set up a reverse proxy. So reverse proxy is basically a program which is used to redirect the request to a different program. Okay, there are other users as well. We'll get into what those users are, but basically we want this program to send this request to port 8080. Now, one might argue why we are not using our Flask application directly on port 80 or 443. This is because port 80 and 443 are privileged ports and you need special permissions. And if you're going to use port 80, if you're going to deploy your Flask app on port 80, you need to give super user permissions to your Flask app, which itself is quite dangerous. And you shouldn't generally do it. Secondly, since you're exposing this port to your internet, it is so you have already learned during your security session with Himanshu that if you're exposing anything to the internet, it is likely it will likely have attackers which will attack your website. And if you have any vulnerabilities inside of your application, then they might try to use that to get and destroy your machines, right? Harm your machines. Secondly, what you can also do is you can have different applications. So let's say you if let's say I want different logics. So if I have home for all the home pages, I want my Flask app to handle and my Express app to handle all the admin pages. Then I can have this this reverse proxy to redirect to these two programs. Okay, so this is also one of the use cases, because I cannot have two applications which run on a single port. This is not what I can have. So what I will do, I will have a single application which runs on port 80 or 443, and I will use that to redirect my traffic to depending on the my logic. Sounds good? So this is generally why we use reverse proxies and why we need Nginx in that matter. This is generally the best practice that you will use. So I'll just stop the server over here. Just a second. So we have seen what we are trying to deploy, right? So so I've already told you guys about what reverse proxies are and why we are actually needing this. Main thing it acts as a shield, and secondly, you can have different logics and different programs which can handle different requests. Okay, and you can do load balancing as well. So that is also one thing. So hopefully by now you guys, if there are privileged ports, why can't we use other ports that are available? You can use other ports, but the issue is that you don't want your users. So for example, just a second, where is my Google Chrome? Right. So you don't generally see like like let's say this is google.com, right? So this is going to be an IP address. You will learn this in DNS and whatever, but you don't generally see, you don't want users to memorize कि कौन से port पे ये this service है या कौन से port पे ये है. You generally want a single way, a centralized way of entry, right? So if I do port 8080, so port 8080 पे उनका search service है या port 5000 पे उनका front end deployed है or so on. You don't generally want that, so that's why you need a reverse proxy. Okay, I hope that cleared your doubt. But anyway, so hopefully you guys have you have started your virtual machine, and now we will just go in. So we will connect to this virtual machine. Okay. So everyone with me till now? Hello.
Hello वो virtual machine कैसे install करना है मतलब?
So we took before this we launched an instance of EC2, so that's all we had to do. Did you follow that?
नहीं वो कुछ setup का था अभी. हाँ.
Right. So if you haven't followed, basically search for EC2. You can follow this guide. Search for EC2. I'll just show you quickly. Go search for EC2 and click launch instance. यहाँ पे ऐसा दिखेगा तुझे. और फिर just name your web server, कौन सा कुछ भी नाम दे दे, to do app वगैरह. Choose Ubuntu. Then choose T2 Micro. For T2 Micro, you need to be in US East 1 or
मैंने Windows चूज किया तो चलेगा क्या?
Windows मत डाल दे क्योंकि that is paid. Ubuntu is free.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll follow Ubuntu. So Ubuntu डाल दे वहां पे, फिर T2 micro choose कर, और बाद में ये दो boxes tick mark कर, HTTP और HTTPS. That is all, and then just click launch instance.
Okay.
Yeah, by the way, ये select key pair पे proceed without a key pair ये select कर.
हाँ.
अभी के लिए this is not generally recommended, but for now we will, for this demo purposes we are doing this. Okay, is everyone with me? Right. So after that, after you launch your instance, what you guys have to do is just select your instance and click connect. Okay, you will be brought to this page. You will be brought to this page where you will see EC2 instance connect. You will just click on this and just hit connect. That's all. Okay, so this is AWS's own terminal. So from the web browser itself, you can access your virtual machine. So it will take a little time, but as you can see, we have our own machine now. So for example, I can click, I can do any commands over here. So for example, ls कर सकता, या फिर कुछ भी actually cd mkdir कुछ भी कर सकता basically. This is my own virtual machine. Okay, so with just click of a button, we were able to create our own virtual machine. So now what I want you guys to do is follow this guide. I'll just show you कि side by side कि कैसे कैसे क्या क्या install करना है, and we'll look into कि Nginx कैसे install करते हैं on our machines. Okay, so Nginx is one of the reverse proxies, so we'll use Nginx. So पहले तो copy all of both of these commands, sudo apt upgrade and upgrade or update. This will install the newest repository inside of your Ubuntu instance. And directly control V होता नहीं इस पे. So what you guys have to do is right click and paste as plain text. Okay, क्योंकि directly control V होता नहीं for some reason on this browser window. So right click and just paste it as it is and just hit enter. It will upgrade all the repository you have. Okay, if are you guys following? And yeah, by the way, jahan pe they are asking, do you want to continue? Then just hit EY and enter. So it will install all the latest repository, right? So let it just take a little time. Then what we will have to do is we are going to set up a reverse proxy. So using Nginx, you can read this if you want to. This is what I've already told you guys about. But basically, we will have to run this command, which is called a sudo apt install Nginx. By the way, okay, while this is installing, this is going to be our public IP address. So this is going to be our IP of our machine. So using this, we are going to access our website. So later on, you can purchase domain names and link your IP address to your domain name. You can do that later on. But over here, what we are going to see eventually is our to-do application. Okay. So yeah. So I think this is done. What commands to give in AWS CLI? AWS CLI मत use करो अभी के लिए. Just follow using EC2 connect. Okay, so abhi ke liye just don't use it, just follow this as it is. So now what we guys have to do is we have to install Nginx inside of our server. So just right click and paste sudo apt install Nginx and just hit enter and just allow the machine to install your this service, and it should be ready. So now if we start and enable Nginx, we should see our Nginx server. So just start and enable Nginx. And after you run these two commands, this is hopefully HTTP, you should see Nginx. So can you increase the font or zoom in a little? Where do you want to? Okay, wait. Is this good? Even this. Okay, I'll just do this as well. Is this good? Okay. Okay, so if you have followed till 2.2, that is start and install enable Nginx, you would have seen an Nginx, and if you go into your public IP address over here, you should see using HTTP over here. Don't forget to use HTTP because we don't have an SSL certificate yet. You will see welcome to Nginx, and this means that you have correctly installed your application. Okay, so I'll just move a little bit fast now. You can use our README file to check how we actually install if you are lagging behind. So let us just move forward now. Okay, now till this point, we all we did was set up our virtual machine, and we have set up our reverse proxy, but we have yet to configure reverse proxy. Before configuring our reverse proxy, uh, we need to bring our project and its environment to this virtual machine. So since we are using Flask application, we have to install Python environment. So tomorrow, if you want to install, let's say if you want to deploy an Express app, you will have to install Node.js and other dependencies. If you want to deploy your Java application, you would have to install Maven. You have to install Java and whatever Tomcat if you need, and so on. Right. So for now, just since we are using Python environment, just copy all of these. It will install Python. It will install this package manager. It will install the virtual environment, and just paste it as plain text and hit enter. And hopefully, and जहाँ पे वो it is asking, just hit Y. So it takes a little time to install, but it's okay. We cannot do anything. So this should set up our environment. So since we are using Python application, it will install Python and all. Now we have to somehow, so as you can see, our project is set up now. So actually our environment is set up. Now we have to bring our project inside of our virtual machine. Okay, so हमने Python install कर दिया, हमने all the उसका package manager install कर दिया, हमने उसका लाइक वर्चुअल एनवायरनमेंट जो होता है, जो सेटअप करने के लिए जो डिपेंडेंसी है वो इंस्टॉल कर दी, बट वी हैव टू ब्रिंग आवर प्रोजेक्ट ओवर हियर. So the way you generally do it is you can either do something called as SCP, which is SSH जैसा ही होता है. We can transfer our file directly onto the virtual machine from our own computer, or you can use something called as Git, which is a version control. So GitHub पे जो भी होता है वो डायरेक्टली यहाँ पे ला सकते हैं onto our virtual machine. So उसके लिए what we will have to do, we will have to install Git पहले. Okay, so we will have to install Git. We will just install it. And Git is already installed inside of our virtual machine because we updated our repository. And what we have to do is we will have to clone our project. So ये जो link है, you can directly do git clone and this URL. I'll just copy it and paste it over here. And as you can see, it has already downloaded all the project over here. So if you, I'll just clear my terminal and I'll just do ls. So as you can see, हमारा जो folder है वो यहाँ पे आ जाएगा. Okay, is everyone with me so far?
Yes.
Right. Okay. So now what you should do is you should go into this folder AWS Cloud Challenge, and then cd into this Flask to do folder, right? So Flask to do mein, this is our application. So this is what we are going to run. So if I do ls, you can see हमारा app.py यहाँ पे है, हमारे templates यहाँ पे, and so on. Okay. Now we will have to install all the dependencies. So generally Ubuntu mein or virtual machines mein, you would have to first create your virtual environment for Python. So the way you generally do it is using Python -m venv or myenv, कुछ भी नाम दे दो उस पे. Generally I do myenv. So this sets up a virtual environment, and to activate that virtual environment, you generally do mynv/bin/activate. Activate. Permission denied. Okay, sudo chahiye actually. Just a second. Sudo mynv bin. Why is this happening? This shouldn't happen actually. Just a second.
हेलो, क्लोन करते वक्त मेरा वो यूजर नेम पूछ रहा है, तो फिर मेरा डालूं या तुम्हारा यूजर नेम?
You can use your own username. मतलब तुम्हारा गेट का पूछेगा वो जनरली इफ यू आर कॉन्फ़िगरेशन के लिए होता है कि प्राइवेट है या नहीं, या पब्लिक है, सो यू शुड बी एबल टू क्लोन इट ऑन योर ओन. So I think I should still be able to do pip install requirements.txt. Okay, wait a second. Python is okay. It's okay. I have to activate my. Okay, yeah. Okay, sorry. Okay, sorry. I missed this command. You have to do source mynv bin and activate. Sorry. So this is generally this is the command you have to run, and you will have to do then pip install -r requirements.txt. So this should install all the requirements. So यहाँ पे I think मैंने दिया होगा. Yeah, see. So python -m mynv, फिर do source mynv bin/activate, and then just install all the requirements. Okay. So this should install all the requirements which you have for your Python application, Flask application. And now we will have to run this application. But the issue is that we will have to run this application inside in the background, because this will use up our terminal. And when we close our terminal, or we will close this this tab, our application will close on its own. Okay. And this is not what we want. We want our server to be constantly running behind the scenes. So the way we are going to do this is we are going to use something called as a terminal multiplexer. Okay, so I'll just show you how to do it. It's quite easy, don't worry. Pehle to you will have to deactivate from your this virtual environment. So just type deactivate. Okay, so deactivate. So ye mynv gaya, so you know that you are outside of your virtual environment. So deactivate kar diya humne. So now we have to run our virtual environment. So everyone with me so far, can you repeat the Python installation? Python installation, which one? You just have to do this. You just have to run all of these commands on your own.
हेलो.
Okay. Yes, hello.
जब वो पासवर्ड पूछ रहा है ना, तो फिर वो बोलता है सपोर्ट फॉर पासवर्ड ऑथेंटिकेशन वाज रिमूव्ड ऑन 21.
Actually, लेकिन since this is a क्या मतलब, this is a open मतलब public repository है, so I don't know why it is asking you for configuring your git. I'll see your doubt later on, Keor. अभी के लिए रहने दो. We'll see. I'll look into your doubt later on after this session. Sounds good?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So क्योंकि git तूने डायरेक्टली git इंस्टॉल करने के बाद git क्लोन किया, तो अभी तेरे सामने किया, it wasn't asking me. So I think it might be some misconfiguration maybe. Okay. So now is everyone following with? बाकी के सब follow कर रहे हैं बाकी? सर अभी के लिए सब okay? राइट. सो अभी के लिए हमने कुछ किया तो नहीं है. हमने सिर्फ एक वर्चुअल मशीन लिया, हमने उस पे nginx इंस्टॉल किया. हमने nginx तो कॉन्फ़िगर अभी किया नहीं है, हमने सिर्फ अभी nginx इंस्टॉल किया है. हमने पाइथन इंस्टॉल किया है क्योंकि हमारा एप्लीकेशन के लिए पाइथन लगता है. and we have cloned our repository, we have brought our project inside of our virtual machine, and we have installed all the dependencies जो भी उसके लिए लगता है. So now we have to run our server. So the way we are going to run our server is बाय द वे, हाँ, इस एप्लीकेशन के लिए SQLite भी लगेगा, सो ये भी इंस्टॉल करके रखो. सो sudo apt install SQLite, ये भी I'll just do this quickly, क्योंकि बाद में वो एरर थ्रो करेगा कि SQLite नहीं है वगैरह. So I'll just install SQLite, and now what we have to do is we will run our application. Okay, so we are going to run our application using tmux. You can use systemd. If you follow YouTube videos, you will learn about systemd as well. Systemd से कैसे करते हैं, फिर PM2 से भी कर सकते हैं. There are other ways of you're running your server in the background. This is just one of the ways, which is very simple. So just do this command tmux new, और एक session बनाते हैं हम terminal का. So when you paste this command, you will see that there is this yellow bar over here. Okay, so now you're inside of a terminal. So you're inside of a terminal, right? Now what you guys can do is just a second, because of this zooming in, ये थोड़ा AWS का ये हो गया है. Just a second, I'll just do. Okay. Hopefully this is visible, I think. So what you guys have to do is you have to start your virtual environment again. So you do source my-env bin and activate over here. So you're inside of your environment, and you will just run whatever is your run command for your application. You will do this. So this is a production command. So if you are into Flask, you will know about gunicorn. Just abhi ke liye ye command run kar do. This will run your Flask application on its own. Okay, so when we run this command, you can see that our website is so our server is running, which is running on port 8080. Okay, लेकिन now how do we now मुझे तो nginx configure करना है, मुझे बाकी के भी टास्क करने हैं. How do I do that? So if I use Control C, ये तो बंद हो जाएगा. So this is not what we wanted to do, right? लेकिन since we were using tmux, okay, terminal multiplexer, since we ran this command before, we are inside of our session now. Okay, so I can just hit Control B और बाद में D दबा सकते. So just do Control B or D to detach from this terminal. Okay, so I'll just show you guys. Control B or D. And as you can see, पहले मैंने जो tmux ये जो किया था, वो जो हमने बाद में जो चालू किया सर्वर, that is running separately. It is running in a separate window. Okay, so this is the way you can generally run your application behind the scenes. Okay, so and you can verify if your application is running. You can just do ps aux, and I'll just see कि कौन से processes Python के processes run हो रहे हैं. And as you can see, हमारा जो port 8080 पे जो run कर रहा था, that server is running behind the scenes. Okay, everyone with me so far? Everyone with me? हमने ज्यादा कुछ किया नहीं. What we did, we created a separate window, एक separate terminal create किया. उस पे हमने हमारा application जो था वो run किया, और फिर we detached from our terminal. Okay, so we came back to our first terminal जहां हम सब commands run कर रहे थे, and उसमें देखा कि हमने हमारा Python का server अब run कर रहा है. Okay, now what we want to do, so हमने 8080 पे तो configure कर दिया हमारा server अभी running है, लेकिन it is still not, it won't be accessed over here. Okay, nginx से तो डायरेक्टली एक्सेस नहीं कर सकते. एंड इफ आई डू :8080 ये भी नहीं चलेगा. क्यों नहीं चलेगा? बिकॉज वी हैवंट अलाउड एनी इंटरनेट कनेक्शंस ओवर पोर्ट 8080 जो हमने पहले बार देखा था. सो व्हाट वी वांट टू डू इज वी वांट आवर nginx टू फॉरवर्ड ऑल ऑफ द रिक्वेस्ट टू आवर पोर्ट 8080. ओके, सो हमने जो देखा पहले, हमने जो देखा यहाँ पे, we want nginx to forward all of our request to this port 8080. So वो कैसे करते हैं? So this is what we will see now. Okay, I'll just clear the terminal, and if you follow through, just run the following three commands as it is. Okay, this is generally your nginx configuration. So so यहाँ पे हम nginx का configuration file लिखने वाले हैं. So you will be brought to this terminal. ये run करने के बाद यहाँ पे we are going to edit the configuration for nginx. nginx की configuration file होती है, and we will have to edit it. So let us just read कि ये configuration file कर क्या रही है. Okay, nginx हमने क्या बोल रहा है nginx को कि पोर्ट 80 पे लिसन करो और फिर जो भी सर्वर नेम है, सो ना वहां पे हमारा ये एड्रेस डालना पड़ेगा. ओके, और जो भी रिक्वेस्ट आए स्लैश पे वो पोर्ट 8080 पे फॉरवर्ड कर दो. दैट इज ऑल वी आर टेलिंग nginx to do. So I'll just copy this and I will just paste this in the terminal, and I will just save this. Control S to save and Control X to exit. Okay, this is all. So we have changed the configuration file of our nginx, and then we will just restart our nginx. So nginx को restart कैसे करते हैं? तो पहले तो nginx सब बराबर है ना, वो चेक करने के लिए nginx-t नाम का कमांड होता है, वो डालते हैं. एंड यहाँ पे देख सकते हैं कि nginx मतलब सक्सेसफुली कॉन्फ़िगरेशन फाइल है जैसे, और we will restart our nginx. So let us just restart our server, restart our nginx server, and now everything is okay. So now if I reload this website, you can, if I restart our website, you can see कि nginx ने हमारे 8080 पोर्ट वाला जो सर्वर था उस पे हमारी ये जो रिक्वेस्ट थी http रिक्वेस्ट वो फॉरवर्ड कर दिया. And you can see that I can add whatever I want. Let's say like go do homework, yeah, do shopping, and so on. So yeah, what I can use this application as it is. Okay, so as you can see, we have what we did. We ran our server. So we ran our port 8080 Flask app on our port 8080, and we have ran our nginx, and we configured nginx so that it will forward all this request to our Flask application. Okay, and whatever request will come over here will be forwarded to this our Flask application. So this is generally the basic idea of how you deploy any application. So tomorrow, if you have an Express application, so whatever we have followed so far, you can follow the same procedure. All you would have to do is you would have to install Node.js, and you would have to, instead of running up our Python server, you will have to run your Express server and just configure nginx to forward the request to that port where your Express server is running. And this is generally how you do your deployment. Okay, everyone cool? Everyone got so far?
Yes.
Okay, so hopefully everyone was with me. If you lagged behind, I had to go a little bit faster because we don't have a lot of time. We are actually out of time, but basically you can follow this guide as it is. As you just saw, I just copied all of these commands as it is, and I pasted out on the terminal. So you can do the same over there, and you can deploy your own application as well. Himanshu, do we have time for SSL one, or should we move forward?
No, I think let's move forward, wrap up, and get the quiz done, because quiz will again take time, right? So
okay, ठीक है, चलेगा. So okay, so I'll just end this. Basically, I'll just wrap this up.
Hello.
Basically, yes, hello.
How do I exit from that GNU Nano 7.2 window?
That terminal you are saying?
Control X, Y, enter.
Control X, Y.
Right? Enter.
Yeah. So after you do this, generally you would see this not secure, right? So I'll just show कि आगे क्या होता है, and you can do it on your own as an activity. So basically अभी के लिए ये not secure दिखा रहा है. क्यों? क्योंकि we are using HTTP. Okay, now if you want to use HTTPS, कौन से भी हमारे जो websites है वो HTTPS पे होते हैं, right? HTTPS पे होते हैं. The way they can use HTTPS is by having an SSL certificate. Now ये SSL certificate जो होता है, you have to obtain that SSL certificate from certificate authorities. Okay, or you can have your own self-signed certificate. So the way you can do it, you can follow this guide. Abhi ke liye you cannot. So there are two types. One is CA signed certificate होते हैं, which is what your production websites actually use. So Google होता है, your Google use करते हैं, Facebook use करते हैं. All your websites, which are production websites, actually use this SSL certificate from these certificate authorities. लेकिन उसके लिए you need a domain name. So abhi ke liye you don't have a domain name, right? So what we can do is we can use a self-signed certificate. Self-signed certificate कैसे लेते हैं? तो it is quite easy. What you guys follow through, so you can see कि ये domain name के साथ मैंने guide दी है. What you can do, guys, do that you can create your own self-signed certificate. So you just have to run these commands. जैसे कि I think someone has deployed their, yes, great job, by the way. Great, Ajinkya. So as you can see, if you want your own SSL certificate, what you can do, you can run these commands as it is, and you have to reconfigure your Nginx to in this manner. So you have to, instead of listening to port 80, you have to listen to port 443, and you have to link those files. You have to just copy these commands as it is, and after that you will see HTTPS and your website. So you can do this on your own. So take this as an activity. Check if you can do it on your own. If you have any doubt, you can message me and or Himanshu, and we'll guide you through. Okay. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this session. So we set up our fast server. I told you guys about what SSL certificate is. You can learn what more about it. कि SSL actually करता क्या है? It encrypts your data during transit. So you will learn about SSL. वो क्या होता है? And yeah, overall, thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed this session, hands-on session. This was a little heavy, and hopefully I wasn't too fast. Time constraint के लिए थोड़ा ज़्यादा जल्दी करना पड़ा. So yeah, anyways, thank you for having me, Himanshu. So yeah, thank you very much.
Yes, nice, very nice session. I hope you guys understood some parts. I also put it, that's great, that's great. Also, I'd give one more disclaimer. ये जिन लोगों ने भी अभी EC2 start किया था, after this session ends, immediately terminate that EC2. Okay, because if you keep it for long, then charges incur for EC2. Okay, so वो क्या करना है, EC2 page पे जाना है, you can click on instance state, and then you can terminate the EC2. Not right now, it's fine completely. EC2 has 750 hours of free, running time, but still, you just remember to do it sometime, later
I'll
on.
just show them कि कैसे करते हैं.
Yeah.
So ये तुम्हारा this will be your instance. So just click on this instance. Then instance state, and then just do terminate. Stop instance mat karo. Stop instance will still incur you charges. You have to terminate that instance. So terminate and delete, and that should delete your instance. Okay.
Okay, nice. Chalo. So we also have a quiz today. So we'll be having a nice quiz which would be covering all the questions from the last 7 days, and the quiz winners are gonna get goodies and swags. Excited? Swags बोला तो सब जन excited होता है, you know. Also, yes, I think let's start with the quiz, and I'll do the further announcement later. Okay. Okay. So here I'll be sharing my screen. Okay. So you can scan this QR, or I'll share this link on the chat. So you can either join through the link or you can scan the QR, any one of them. You'll be having 10 questions and like time based रहेंगे 20 seconds for each question, and the one who will be having a leaderboard too. So start joining. Also put in your proper names, proper तुम लोग का first name and last name properly लिखो. So like while giving swags, we'll be knowing who you are. ये देखो riot बोल के आ गया. You just remove that, put a proper name, okay, and come in. Because even if you are like coming with dummy names, and if you win, then we won't give you the prizes or the swags. Okay. Nice. Okay. जल्दी जल्दी ज्वाइन करो. Okay. 37 of you have joined, 41. There are 84 people. Let's wait for some more time. If anyone is having a problem while joining, you can put it in chat. Okay, should we start? Anyone who is left? Should we start? Okay, let's start with the quiz. So here's your first question. 3, 2, 1, and here you go. Which of the following are examples of AWS compute services? Is it Amazon S3 and Amazon Glue? Is it Amazon EC2 and Lambda? Is it RDS and Aurora? Or is it DynamoDB and Redshift? Okay, nice. Most of you have answered it right. And that was Amazon EC2 and AWS Lambda. We did this in AWS Compute, right? AWS Compute second day पे किया था. 6 लोगों ने skip किया. Don't skip. You'll go through leaderboard में गिर जाओगे नीचे. So we have Srinivas running first. We have Sudarshan and then we have Arya. Let's move forward. And your question comes in 3, 2, 1. There you go. Which of the following is not a key benefit of cloud computing? Scalability, fixed resource capability, cost efficiency, accessibility, and flexibility. Nice. almost 50%, 50 participants have given it right. Fixed resource capacity tha. So yeah, we have a scalable capacity, right? When it comes to cloud. That's nice. Cost efficiency, cost efficient hai, accessible hai, scalable hai. Okay. Next question that comes in 3, 2, 1. Here you go. In an EC2 deployment, what is the role of auto scaling? And you have the options. Okay, nice. So to automatically update the operating system, ये तो हम लोग नहीं करते, ये systems manager करता है. To manually increase and decrease the instance capacity, that this is not what EC2 does. What sorry, auto scaling does. Auto scaling is to adjust the number of EC2 based on the demand. Okay, and we have the leaderboard. First is Arya here, second is Srinivas, and third Keora. And yes, बहुत like सबने almost बहुत लोगों ने तीनों के तीनों सवाल सही दिया. Then be fast. See here, Keora is on 29, 33. Maybe we'll see changes on the leaderboard soon. And here comes the next question. 3, 2, 1. Here you go. What role does AWS Cloud Front play when used with S3? It serves as a firewall. It converts S3 data to relational. It caches and delivers content from S3, or it stores backup copies of S3. And yes. Oh, okay. lot of you guys got it wrong. So basically what S3 does, CloudFront does is it caches and delivers the content from S3. So S3 page, when we do static hosting, right? We did static hosting during our yesterday's session. So we usually connect it with Amazon CloudFront to deliver the content faster on your website. Okay. It serves as a firewall. Firewall के लिए हम लोग के पास कौन से है? ये WAF है, security groups है, that comes under firewall. Okay, don't get confused with that. Okay, nice. Still, there are a lot of people who have given 4 out of 4 right, and Srinivas, Keor, and Arya. Again, these three are on the lead. Okay, next question here. What is an Amazon VPC? A physical data center managed by AWS, a virtual private cloud that isolates AWS resources, a service for managing DNS records, or a service for deploying containerized applications. And the answer is a virtual private cloud that isolates the AWS resources. And yes, most of you have given that right. That is great. And yes, the leaderboard remains the same. That is crazy. You can see the number of time difference. Here is 49.2 seconds. Here is 49.4 seconds. So maybe, yes, we can see the shift maybe in the upcoming questions. And here we go. The next question, 3, 2, 1. There you go. What is Amazon S3 primarily used for? Running containerized applications, storing and retrieving large amounts of data, managing relational databases, or orchestrating microservices. Okay, nice. So the answer is storing and retrieving large amounts of data. S3 is a storage service, right? Running containerized applications is not done by S3, it is done by ECS. जैसे EC2 था ना, EC2 क्या था? Elastic Cloud Compute. ECS क्या रहता है? ECS is specific for running containers. Okay, ये तुम लोग पढ़ोगे, like पढ़ा था, I guess इसमें अंकित ने पढ़ा था. Yeah, you studied it during your day 2. And yes, the leaderboard remains the same. That's nice. Okay, next question. Here we go. Question 7. What is cloud computing? Very easy question. A method of computing only local desktops, delivery of IT resources, running software on mobile, or hosting data on personal service. इसका आंसर किसी का गलत नहीं आना चाहिए. Okay, nice. This is the straightforward answer. Delivery of IT resources. When you talk about IT resources, that covers compute, storage, database. Okay, it is not a method for only local desktops. हम लोग we can use for anything. It is not exclusively for mobile devices, and it is not only for personal servers. The keyword was only, and that's why I guess a lot of people got you confused. And oh, we have a huge shift in the leaderboard page. Srinivas again is leading. We have new Omkar and we have Mayuresh here. And here also Yash and Ahire. Okay, nice. Nice. Let's move to the next question. The eighth question here in 3, 2, 1. Here you go. Which AWS service is used to manage user access and permissions? AWS Cloud Trail, AWS IAM, AWS Config, or AWS Guard Duty? Again, this is a very easy question. Okay, nice. Here you have the answer again. Okay, Guard Duty is not it. Guard Duty is used for DDoS attacks, right? That is, but yes, this is a common confusion which you can think of. CloudTrail is used to monitor the logs. For user access, okay, we use IAM. याद है when we were learning about security, we said Cognito what it does, it checks कि user के पास access है क्या, and IAM क्या बोलता है कि कितना access है, okay? So that is what IAM does, right? And again, okay, the participant leaderboard changed, and we have Srinivas, Mayuresh, and Yash. It's pretty stupid because like all three of these people are from the club. So, so I guess I should be proud that I'm teaching them good enough. Okay, and Ahire is there again. Let's move forward to the next question. We only have 2 questions, guys. Next question in here. How does AWS Lambda differ from Amazon EC2? Lambda requires server management, EC2 does not. Lambda runs code in response to events without managing servers. EC2 is event-driven. And fourth is both require manual scaling of resources. Okay, nice. Most of them. Okay. Yes. So that is great. The answer was Lambda runs code in response to events without managing servers. Lambda के लिए तुम लोग को servers manage नहीं करने पड़ते, but EC2 के लिए तुम लोग को manage करने पड़ते हैं. Okay, that was the answer. And yes, most of you have given it right. Again, we have Srinivas, Yash, and we have Sarthak. Okay. Next, this is the last question. Make sure you guys अच्छे से दोगे without any mistakes. Okay, the answer was Amazon RDS. And again, okay, there was a lot of confusion, but when it comes to databases, RDS is a database, Lambda is a compute service, DynamoDB is, okay, मेरे को बोल रहा है शांत बैठ जा. But yes, DynamoDB is storage, but not relational. It is non-relational. CloudFormation, though, it's not even a database. Okay, so let's see our leaderboard now. Let's see our leaderboard. And here we have Srinivas, who is leading. Then second, we have Yash. And third, we have Sarthak. And great job, guys. Great. Nice. And here we also have Aditya as fourth, Mukund as fifth, Arya as sixth, Omkar Lonkar as seventh, Mayuresh as eighth, Shivam as ninth, and Ahire Vedant as 10th. Nice. अच्छा था कैसा था quiz? How was the quiz? Also, winners can put in their email ID or your number, email ID and number on the chat box. So I can coordinate with you guys and share you guys the swaps. Okay. And with that, we are at the end of today's event, and we are end at the event 2. So it was great that you guys joined us for 7 days. Um, बहुत अच्छा लगा that you guys have been continuously contributing. Some of you guys have been, going through these videos that are hosted, like that are posted, and some of you guys have also been writing really good blogs. Um, and yes, I do read that blogs, and it is really great to read that. So again, more to announcement would be, it's fine if even if you don't win the quiz, you didn't win the quiz right now. We are also going to give swags in two other ways. First, to ye quiz tha. Second, we the people who are sharing their everyday knowledge using the hashtag AWS CCPICT Cloud Learning Challenge. Shraddha, can you just share that on the can you share that tag? So you can use that tag and you can post us and you can tell us about the experience of all the 7 days that has been happening. A post of all the 7 days or individual post of one day, 2 day, three. And the one who has, consistently studied and consistently shown his efforts on LinkedIn, we will be giving them the swag. We'll be contacting you in next 2 days and giving you the swag. Again, there is one more way to get a swag. That is a best deployment challenge. Okay, so it is really great to see you guys getting your websites deployed. And now, abhi tum log ko jaise pata hai, now you studied about 3 different ways of deployment, right? So now you can, deploy your own website, whichever website it is, and post it on LinkedIn, telling about the website and how you deployed it on cloud. And again, tag us with this AWS Learning CCPICT Challenge 25 hashtag. And the best deployment would be also getting a swag. And that the criteria of the criteria of choosing the best deployment would be not the best website, but the best way to we have deployed. Maybe आज तो हम लोगों ने EC2 का पढ़ा, right? So EC2 को addition में थोड़ा study more. SSL का नहीं सिखाया तो maybe try implementing SSL. उसके साथ maybe try implementing load balancing or some extra things. Okay, study from your side. Deploy your own website and create a LinkedIn post and tag us that okay, we did this challenge and this is our deployment submission, and you can put the hashtag, and the best deployment would be again getting a swag. Yes, and the third part is you'll be getting certificates. Certificates tum log ko mil jayenge by mail by tomorrow evening. Okay, by tomorrow evening you'll be getting certificates, everyone who has been attending. And credits ke liye, FEs will definitely get credits for this. So FEs will be we'll be contacting with FEs on the WhatsApp groups, or tomorrow's email will be giving you FEs ke liye kuch instructions that they have to do. Okay. Overall, कैसा लगा तुम लोग को? How was the boot camp? How was the challenge for 7 days? What do you think can be improved, or do you want some challenge like this again? Feedbacks. How was it? Nice, nice. The speakers are also very good. All the speakers have given a lot of efforts in doing this. I don't know how many of the speakers are here right now in the meet, but yes, a cheers to the speakers too. Just good. Nice. Nice. Sarthak, I read your blogs. The blogs are very good. I read all the blogs. Sarthak has been posting consistently from day one, and his blogs are getting better and better from day one to day five. Day five ka tha, I think abhi read kiya hua, and day five was so very perfect. That's a great job. Nice. Yes, awesome. That's great. Great. Yes. और एक next time कुछ चाहिए ऐसे ही 1 week का challenge that would be maybe DevOps related. Have you guys heard of DevOps? Or something like hands-on related करते हैं. Let's learn some more things on cloud. Yes, nice. Sounds good. Okay. And there were some people who reached out to me that they had doubts. ये hands-on का ये जो चल रहा था, right? So if you want to, you can stay back in the meet, and then we will get that done. Mentors are very helpful. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, mentors are very great. All the speakers were very great. Uh, experience. Nice. Okay. Shraddha, over to you.
Okay, so I would like to officially end this learning challenge. Congratulations to all the participants who have successfully completed this challenge, and they will be receiving the certificates also. So on the behalf of entire AWS team, thank you to the audience for being such an amazing audience. Keep reaching for the cloud, and we will see you in the next adventure that we will be bringing up for you. So stay tuned. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, if anyone had doubts regarding the hands-on, they can start asking now. Yeah. Okay. Uh, so- is Sarthak still here? Sarthak, Sarthak Inamdar. I think he went. Okay, where can we get such more helpful events? So yeah, our club would be doing it again, and that is there. Not only our club get exposure from outside too, and the best way is Meetup platform join किया है तुम लोगों ने. So Meetup platform पे there are a lot of organizations that who post their sessions or whatever they are gonna do, meets they are gonna do, and there are very good prominent um, prominent organizations, and I would suggest some, that is AWS User Group Pune. So AWS User Group Pune is basically a user group for all the Pune people, and वो लोग monthly meetups host करते हैं. Even they'll be hosting a meetup on 22nd February, that is this Saturday. I'll also be there. Then you can also register for it and come. Then there are some other also. There is GDG Cloud का भी है, and there is Docker Pune का एक community है, CNCF का community है. So you can search through this community if you are more interested in startups. Startups के भी community रहते हैं उन लोग के, and these communities usually have monthly meetups or bi-monthly meetups. Bi-monthly if I'm right, yes, bi-monthly or quarterly even. So you can check those. Like hands-on project based, I don't think so. Mostly ये meetups में मिलता है. Meetups are mostly for sessions only. Hands-on के लिए you can stay connected with us. Also, if you are interested, हम लोग का we have a newsletter. So if you go to our AWS Cloud Club LinkedIn page, we have a newsletter where we post hands-on project weekly. So हर एक week को we post a hands-on. So honestly, if you really want some experience, हर एक week को तो you can create a cloud project. We literally are providing you the project, right? तुम लोग को बस steps, you just have to follow the steps. So you can, follow through that newsletter too. And in general, तेको बस खुद से hands-on पढ़ना है. So you can go to the site called AWS Workshops. Wait, I'll share it with you. AWS Workshops. So yes, you can get free workshops here with like step-by-step implementation, but just make sure to like check on the prices, like कितना cost लगता है उसमें. Okay. I think that's it. Let's wrap up the meet. Okay. Okay then. Yes. Okay. Thanks a lot, guys, for joining. We'll be ending the meet.